Good afternoon. My name is Kevin Davidson. I'm the acting United States Attorney for the Middle District of Alabama. I'm joined today by leadership of FBI, DEA, HSI, ICE, Alabama Department of Corrections, and the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency to discuss a law enforcement operation which occurred today in several counties in Alabama. This morning, federal agents, supported by state and local officers, executed federal search warrants at 14 locations in Lee, Macon, Elmore, Watauga, Crenshaw, and Baldwin counties. Now, because the affidavits related to those search warrants are still sealed, I cannot speak to the specific facts which led to the issuance of those search warrants. But I can tell you that they are related to a long-term investigation which has accompanying with the search warrants a federal indictment against Cesar Campos Reyes. Now, Mr. Campos Reyes is not in custody and is considered a fugitive. The indictment charges him with 4 counts of bank fraud, 4 counts of wire fraud, and money laundering. The charges stem from Paycheck Protection Program loans that Campos Reyes received on behalf of some of his restaurants. Those restaurants were included in the locations which were searched today. Mr. Campos Reyes is alleged to have falsely certified that the money he received as part of the loans would be used for legitimate expenses, and instead he used the funds for non-legitimate purposes. During the search warrant, the execution of the search warrants today, law enforcement recovered distribution amounts of methamphetamine, powder cocaine, crack cocaine, assorted pills, more than $100,000 of bulk cash, and at least 20 guns. In addition to Mr. Campos Reyes, 3 other individuals have been taken into federal custody. 2, the government is seeking a federal complaint to charge with harboring of illegal aliens, and a 3rd, the government is seeking a federal complaint to charge with unlawful distribution of a controlled substance. Now, during the execution of those 14 search warrants today, agents encountered more than 40 persons illegally in the country. Those persons have been detained pending deportation proceedings. Now, as you can see, this investigation is wide-ranging to include white-collar crimes, drug crimes, gun crimes, harboring of illegal aliens, among other crimes. It involves searches and investigation which is still ongoing. At this time, I'll now turn the press conference over to FBI Mobile Special Agent in Charge, Sarah Jones.
Good afternoon. Today's operation is a culmination of a tremendous amount of collaboration between the state, local, and federal levels of law enforcement. The investigation is layered in criminality to include financial fraud, narcotics, weapons, and harboring of illegal alien charges and components. Today is also a reflection of the Gulf of America Homeland Security Task Force's commitment to keeping our communities safe. As you'll be hearing, we encountered nearly 50 illegal aliens throughout the course of today's operation. Anyone who has information about the whereabouts of Cesar Campos Reyes is asked to contact the FBI Mobile Field Office at 251-438-3674. If you encounter Campos Reyes, do not approach. Please contact the FBI or local law enforcement. Thank you.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed are greater than the legal services provided by other lawyers. You found the Heart of Dixie podcast number 17, 18, Brandon?
Something like that.
Something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
saw something that said 18, yeah.
There we go. So I'm attorney Harry Still. I'm an attorney down in Daphne, Alabama. We're joined today by our regular co-host, Brandon Mosley, reporter and content manager at the Alabama Gazette. How are you, Mr. Mosley?
I'm doing fine. Harry, how are you?
I'm pretty good, except for the humid hair. And Brent Woodall, an attorney from North Alabama, who is a candidate for the Public Service Commission, is joining us today. How are you, Mr. Woodall?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank y'all so much for having me on today.
So we like to start with showing everybody where you're from. So is that correct that you're from Tuscumbia and that's up there near Muscle Shoals?
That is correct. I hadn't reached for my glasses. I'm glad you said that because without my glasses, I can't read that printed in front of me. But yeah, I live currently just outside Tuscumbia, and we absolutely love it up here. It's a great part of the state of Alabama.
So I got a funny story for you. So I'm coming down Section Street. The state bar convention is going on down here at the Grand Hotel. So I had to go down there and meet with somebody, and I'm coming back up Section Street. And I'm turning right on Fairhope Avenue, and I see your DA standing there on the street corner. Yeah. So I pulled over and I said, don't be breaking the law while you're down here in Baldwin County, son. And anyway, I got to know him during the Hibbett case. If you know anything,
Okay.
if you remember that. So you're an attorney yourself.
Yes, sir.
Tell us what kind of practice you have.
Well, currently, I just retired from the state of Alabama. Most of my career, I had been a prosecutor, and that's how I ended it. As right now, I'm spending a whole lot of time, as you can imagine, traveling around the state campaigning. But beginning next month, I'm going to go back part-time as an assistant DA in Franklin County, Alabama, which is just south of where we live. And I'm looking forward to that opportunity. But that's what I've done most of my career. For a while, I was in private practice. I also worked for about a year and a half at the Court of Criminal Appeals. And then following that, I went over to the Public Service Commission, where I served as the chief of staff for a few years for one of the commissioners who was there at the time.
So you have a pretty good idea of what the Public Service Commission does as their former chief of staff.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's keep on flipping through our files here because I have a slide here. The 2026 Public Service Commission election will be held November 3rd, 2026 to elect 2 associate members of the Alabama Public Service Commission to 4-year terms. Incumbent Commissioner Chris Beaker Jr. resigned in September 24 over health concerns. KIV appointed his son, Chris Beaker III, as a replacement. And I guess he's the former rural development guy. Is that who you're running against, or are you running against Odom?
No, sir. I'm running against Chris Beaker III.
Okay. There we go. And so I guess this is Brandon. So Brandon, you've already talked to this guy on some other podcast?
Probably.
Yep. Apparently back in May, you guys had a conversation. So tell me about how, was this an organic thing? Did someone come to you and ask you to run? Were you compelled to do it? I always said I was going to go back and run for mayor in the damn town where I had to eat shit for 11 years, where I was a staff member. So is it one of those kind of grudge things like I got, or what's your motivation?
My motivation is very simple. While I was there at the Public Service Commission, I learned about something that happens with the money that the Public Service Commission receives that really ticked me off. And I am on a mission to try to change that. The way I can change it is by being a member of the commission. And Harry, I'd love, if you want to hear about how that money works, I'd love to tell you about it now.
Go for it, please.
All right. Well, the PSC, as most people in Alabama have an idea, the PSC regulates utilities. Now, they don't regulate all utilities. Like, I mean, up in North Alabama, of course, they don't touch TVA. They don't regulate municipally owned utilities. They don't regulate co-ops. What they regulate are, I want to give you the simple word, they regulate monopolies. The convoluted way of saying that, which is what you usually get from members of the Public Service Commission, is that they regulate for-profit companies who operate without competition in a certain geographical area. Again, that's a lawyerly way of saying monopoly. But these companies pay a fee to the PSC for the privilege of being regulated. And that's where the PSC gets its money. It doesn't get any money at all from the general fund. So it gets these monies from these companies who get their money, of course, from the ratepayers. The people who think they're paying their electricity bill or their natural gas bill. And they are, but as part of that, there is what I call a hidden tax built in. Because when those companies get the money, send it to the PSC gets it, they use that money to pay all of their operating expenses, their employee expenses. But at the end of the fiscal year, they have money left over, as you can imagine. And it's not just a few $100s, it's not a few $1,000s. This adds up to millions of dollars. And I'll give you an idea of how much it is just from the past 4 years. In 2021, it amassed to $10 million. In 2022, it was another $10 million. And from 2021 through 2024, it totaled $33 million. Now, that's not just the money that they amassed. That's how much of the money that they got that they sent, not back to the utility companies, telling them to send it back to the ratepayers. That is how much money the PSC transferred to the general fund. Because that's what happens with this extra money. It doesn't go back to the ratepayers who paid it. It goes to the general fund, and then it gets spent on projects that those ratepayers may never enjoy, and in parts of Alabama they may never see. That's what I learned when I was at the PSC that bothered me greatly, and that's why I'm running to be the PSC Place 2 commissioner, is to put an end to the hidden tax.
So I have a suggestion or an observation, I guess it would be.
Yes.
So you agree that all these people are monopolistic in nature, and depending on where I live, I don't have any choice as to whether I'm a TVA customer or an Alabama Power customer or an Alabama Electric Cooperative, one of these little Ball and EMC customers, right? It's geographically, I'm stuck. So why is it that the power company and the other utilities are allowed to build in what I can figure is for Alabama Power Companies, about $20 million built into their rate structure that they then spend on lobbying and advertising? So, I think it's great when they put a feel-good commercial on about the power companies doing this and that for you. And I'm like, who gives a damn? Because I have no choice. It's not like I can pick up the phone and switch to Verizon. You understand what I'm saying? I'm stuck with the power company. So why are they spending all this money advertising to a captured audience? It doesn't make any sense. And then, of course, we all know what happens. The only other thing that I would press you upon is whether or not we're going to have a rate hearing for the power company, which hasn't happened since I was in third grade. Or no, it was 1977, Brandon. I was born in 70.
Right, that's before I was covering it, but yeah.
Right, it's been quite some time.
Oh, it's been a long time, and I don't mind. And Harry, I lost you for just a few minutes for some reason. I'm not sure what happened there, but without even going into the full-blown hearing, I guess y'all saw this story that came out on July the 9th, where a judge there in Montgomery ruled that the Public Service Commission did not have to hear and does not have to hear from the public on fuel cost considerations for one of the largest utility that they regulate. And it all boiled down to the PSC saying, well, this is not a proceeding. The word just, or the decision hung on the word proceeding. And as long as it is not a proceeding, goes the argument, we don't have to hear from the public. Well, Harry, that to me, without even getting to a full-blown hearing on the other matters, it is called the Public Service Commission. Why would you not want to hear from the public regarding a matter such as rate increases? I mean, and it's, to me, it's even more basic. And I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but I mean, this is really basic. You come and say, well, this is not a proceeding. This is just where we're going to raise some rates based on fuel costs. Why not say, no, this is a proceeding. We do want to hear from the public. We'll listen to what you have to say. And the only reason that I can come up with is because for the commissioners there, that would mean that they would actually have to be at the Public Service Commission in Montgomery doing work in exchange for the pay that they are receiving. That is something that I intend to do, is to be there in Montgomery doing the job that the people of the state are paying me to do, and not be laid up at the house watching The Price is Right or whatever.
Well, I'm sure there's plenty of that goes on. So let's go ahead, Brent.
Issue that you brought up.
Yes.
Isn't it just understood by the legislature that we're going to tax your power bill, and then the Public Service Commission is going to pay the commissioner's salary and their staff and their vehicles and, the inspectors that they have and, their light bill, whatever's got going on there at PSC head, command, and then it's going to be revenue for the general fund. I mean, the largest component of the general fund in income is actually money that you pay in taxes on any insurance you buy. Above and beyond the cost of running the Alabama Insurance Commission, and then they write a massive check to the transfer to the general fund. And the PSC does the same thing with the taxes on utilities.
Right.
We have a general fund, and I don't think any income tax dollars are allowed to go to the general fund. So this is just sort of how we fund our prisons and our Medicaid.
Well, let's go back to what Harry said about having choices. When it comes to insurance, you do have some choices because there's not a monopoly there. But in this,
the state does tell you have to have insurance on your car, or we will throw you in jail.
Right. And that's true. But I do have the ability to go out and talk to different insurance companies, but I'm not bound to just one insurance company. I don't live in Alabama. It's not based on where you live as to what insurance company is available to you. Whereas that is exactly what happens with the utility companies. And that to me is where the way this is set up is just wrong. One of the things that you will find over the last few years, or at least it happened when I was there, you would find that after the money or after the legislature was notified about the amount of money that was at the PSC to be sent over, the PSC would make a statement like, we're going to give back to the general fund this year X amount of dollars, I'll just say $7 million. And that's just wrong, because you can't give it back to the general fund when it didn't come from the general fund. Or they might say something like, we're going to return it. Well, no, you're not returning it. You didn't get it from there. But again, people expect to pay taxes on certain things. On the list in the code where you can find the PSC written down, the number one state agency is the Alabama Alcoholic Beverage Control Board, excuse me.
Don't get me started.
No, but that's
don't get us started.
Yeah, if somebody goes down to an ABC store in Alabama, they're expecting to pay tax on it. But when you sit down and pay your power bill, and let's face it, we've got some high power bills in Alabama. I know it's hot where y'all are. It's been hot up here for several days. Those power bills are going to go up people don't expect to pay tax on that. And again, though, Brandon, going back to your point, they don't have the ability to choose between providers for their utilities the way they have the ability to choose between providers for their insurance needs.
Well, since we're pressed for time, I'm going to throw all this in here in one statement. You know, the Public Service Commission in Alabama has been a good example of what I like to term regulatory capture, where the people who are supposed to be regulated kind of dictate to the people on the board what is a public meeting and what's not, and what we're going to listen to and what's not. And if you don't want to play by the rules, then we'll primary you. I mean, not literally, but you know what I mean. So anyway, and along with that is the concept that I want to introduce into Brandon's brain today, which is the leverage economy. We've been talking about it a lot, and I think that's a perfect name for what we've been tripping over all this time. So anyway, we've been talking to different candidates, and I just wanted to give Brandon an opportunity as we're flipping through here. Has anybody else entered the Attorney General's race?
As of this moment, those are the only 3 candidates I'm aware of.
Okay. And I wanted to, since you are an attorney, did you say that Jeff Sessions was inducted into the Alabama Lawyers Hall of Fame?
I did not see that story. Somebody else asked me today, I was at an event, somebody asked me about a news story, and I said, you know, with all the driving I'm doing, I'm missing a lot. But I did miss that Sessions was inducted. Yep.
And of course, like I said, it's the 148th annual meeting of the Alabama State Bar, and the tagline this year is Harvesting Hope. I guess we're all hoping in one hand and having reality in the other, I suppose. The Grand Hotel Golf Resort and Spa, if anybody hasn't been down here, it's one of the most beautiful damn places on earth. And, you know, if we're going to spend a bunch of tax money, why not spend $400 a night staying at the Grand? I'm assuming that you know that the earth is round. We have to be careful with all these assuming you're an attorney. So I'm assuming that you're on board with that. We have to be careful speaking to people here in Alabama who are running for office. So anyway,
that is controversial now in Alabama.
So there's a story this past week about the mayor of Orange Beach allegedly dragging a woman by her hair, both of them disrobed, and of course the big story this week is our district attorney's office is not going to look into this at all. So if you were hoping for some kind of investigation or anything like that, yes, the mayor of course says it was not him and dares anyone to debate him on this matter. And of course this is the same mayor who got into fist fights at the Floribama and denied any of that happened. Their chief of police has decided to go spend more time with his grandchildren after 33 years. And anyway, have you ever been in it? So I was deposing Chief Brown back in April, and I asked a question they didn't like, and the city attorney and the chief just got up and left. And after they left, I didn't know you could leave a deposition. You ever seen the deposition of Bill Clinton? You don't think that sumbitch would have run like the Kool-Aid man through the wall if he could have to get out of that room? I mean, nobody's ever heard of this before. So anyway, they get up and leave, and then he resigns. So anyhow, my client and I go out in the parking lot, and I got my little dog in the car, so I let him out, and he's running around, and the black and white pulls up on the other side of him, and then one pulls up on the other side of me, and I said, well, hell, let's get out of here. So they follow us to the city limits, which leads me to the statement of claim for harassment that I filed this week against the city of Orange Beach.
Hi everyone, I'm Bailey Kennan Wyatt here with my dad, Mayor Tony Kennan, for another Tuesdays with Tony. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Today we're live on Facebook, but this will also be recorded, and so you can find it on YouTube. Tony's YouTube channel later today in case you want to share it.
It's 08 when we ran the very first time, and it's really funny that it seems like here we go, deja vu all over again. I remember when you were 8 or 9 doing a commercial about the personal attacks. No one ever attacks me for my record or my performance or accomplishments or the future. They always make it a personal character assassination attempt. And you know, my opponent has no platform except character assassination. And that begs the question, why? And why are these attacks becoming so vile and so numerous? What group is it that wants me out of office so badly that they're willing to do this? Or what group wants my opponent in office so badly that they're willing to do this? I think that's a question that is legitimate to ask. They've crossed the line now. They've drugged my extended family into this. They've drugged city employees. They've drugged the city and other individuals that have absolutely nothing to do with this election, just kind, good-hearted people, but yet they're being disparaged, and I don't understand that. What I'm praying for is that the people of Orange Beach will see this and will say enough's enough. This is not how we treat each other in our community, at least the community I think we have. And on August 26th, they're going to send a strong message, a shot heard around the world, that this is not what we do.
A police report filed against the mayor of Orange Beach. Now, Mayor Tony Kennan is defending himself.
And I just got off the phone with Mayor Kennan just moments ago, and this incident happened at the Floribama. He tells me it happened during a date night with his wife. He has not seen the police report, but he insists to me he has done nothing wrong. News 5's Brianna Hollis joins us now live outside of City Hall. Brianna, you also had a discussion with the mayor. What else did he have to say to you?
Orzan, our conversation was pretty short, like you mentioned. You know, he didn't necessarily go into full details about what may have happened there at the Floribama, but similar to what he said to you, he told me that he personally has video that he says clears his name. Again, that report was filed with the Escambia County Sheriff's Office referencing some sort of fight. An important thing to mention here, though, is that he was not arrested. No charges have been filed. Let's go ahead and get to what he had to say.
Now, I consider myself a Christian man. I'm not a good Christian man, but I'll turn the cheek when I can. But the minute I feel like my wife or my children or a friend or myself is threatened in any way, I'm going to deal with it immediately. And in any fashion I need to deal with it to eliminate the threat.
For all of us here at News Center 4, I'm Ron Burgundy. You stay classy, San Diego.
How about them apples? So anyway, while everyone is being distracted, I want to talk to you about all this distraction stuff. So did y'all see Alex Jones pulled off on the side of the road and threw up over the Epstein stuff? Have y'all seen that video he made on his phone? He started talking about Trump. So anyway, Trump says he will excommunicate anyone from MAGA who continues to talk about the Epstein case, okay? So while we're all fascinated by this pedophile and all these people who are unable to tell us the truth, who, you know, said they were going to release all these tapes and whatnot. And there's
I don't know why we can't just slow down and let the investigation proceed and this stuff come out in time. We all want it like now. We want it immediately. And it's like, just slow it down. It'll happen. Just
okay, but there's a minute window built into the camera system so that you can slip in and kill somebody in any cell in this cell block at this particular time. Did y'all notice? They said it jumped from this minute to that minute. And I'm like, well, that's not a good idea. So anyway, while we're all talking about Epstein killing himself, and let's see. Oh, yeah. Remember, we now have a new breaking news story where Comey is some kind of bad guy, and which, of course, he's the director of the FBI, And now Tulsi Gabbard came out today and says President Obama and all of these bad guys came up with this Russia collusion, Russia. So another story just to keep us, I'm sorry, y'all hold on one second.
Brandon, I'll tell you what, I would like to say, Harry mentioned their district attorney. Back in the early 2000s, I had the privilege of trying a few cases in front of the gentleman who is now their district attorney back when he was a circuit court judge. And that was really some really great experiences in his court.
Anything that's AT&T in it?
I don't.
You don't.
So, T-Mobile.
T-Mobile.
Yep.
So you don't know if AT&T comes in?
Don't know. Come on, Ray. Here.
All right. Sorry about you.
That's okay.
Yeah, Baldwin County is a little bit different.
I never know when it's a hit, man. Sorry.
Hey, Harry, I told Brandon when he
Let's see here.
back in the early 2000s.
Sit, dude.
Yeah, I told Brandon when you stepped out back in the early 2000s, I had the privilege of trying a few cases in front of the gentleman who is now your district attorney. And that was a good learning experience for me.
Yes, things are very different and bizarre down here in Baldwin County, especially in yeah. So anyway, another thing to distract us, guys, is that Marjorie Taylor Greene came out with a bill to make it illegal to bioengineer or to do anything to affect the weather. Somebody slipped in and killed a couple of, I don't think American Idol's all that great anymore, but to kill the producer, that's a little over the top.
To me, they're saying they're saying that's a burglary, nothing stolen, and the assassin climbed a wall. This is a home that has a wall all the way around it, and apparently it looks to me like that person was waiting on them to arrive.
So also
they weren't like ransacking the place. They weren't there. They arrived, and there's a burglar in the building, and he kills both of them.
Yeah, there's a reason I threw this in here.
Premeditated murder, not burglary gone bad.
Okay. Also this week, to keep us distracted, James O'Keefe at Project Veritas put out this video of a Johnson & Johnson executive admitting that the COVID vaccine was unsafe. All right. So we got plenty to keep us distracted. Have y'all figured out what we're being distracted from yet? So it's also the Alabama Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo kicks off today. And I just thought this was almost too bizarre to pass up. Do you have summer long balls? That's in the New York Times. There's also, now, if you saw the story at the beginning of the hour, Cizo Campos Reyes was arrested in connection with multiple federal raids in Alabama. Of course, one of the raids was here in Baldwin County, and so I kept up with it on Twitter, and he was actually captured on the 15th. And this has to do with a wide-ranging PPP loan fraud investigation, which led to the discovery of illegal aliens, 50 pounds of meth, human trafficking, and a partridge in a pear tree over 7 different counties. And the only reason they ever looked into it was because the dumbass was stealing PPP money. So anyway, apparently this guy's a bit of a kingpin.
And they investigate everybody who cheated them on PPP loans. Yeah, there's going to be FBI raiding people all over the place.
But this is a very popular, like a chain. It's like Spirits and Barbecue. It's right there in downtown Foley.
I don't think I've ever ate any of his. I think he has like about 8 restaurants. I don't think I've ever eaten at any of them, though I have driven by some of them.
I've eaten at 2 of them. Yeah. So then Comey's daughter, who prosecuted Ghislaine Maxwell and who just screwed up the P. Diddy investigation, she just got canned. How about that?
They were saying that, she got fired because of her daddy. I'm not Pam Bondi, but it looks to me like she completely messed up that P. Diddy case because, I thought they had P. Diddy, based on all the pre-trial nonsense, that, you know, heck, I mean, he was like, you know, the chief pimp, you know, for like all of Hollywood. And then, you know, he just gets like 2 counts of transporting across state lines for prostitution. I mean,
Yeah, that's really bad. That's the worst thing you did, dude. So here we go. Here's the big reveal. Here's what just changed your lives. And it's happening right now. If we flip over to YouTube, the president is signing the Genius Bill. And do you know what it does, Brandon?
I do not, Harry. I'm waiting on you to tell me.
I pledged that we would bring America back, American liberty and leadership, and make the United States the crypto capital of the world. And that's exactly what we've done. So the House approves $9 billion cut to foreign aid. So it does a couple other things too. I don't know if y'all know that NPR is on the ropes and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. But Trump has declared this Happy Crypto Week. The House will soon vote on the tremendous bill to make America the undisputed #1 digital assets. And of course, this will be the largest transfer of wealth in our lifetime, save all the money we gave to the Middle East for oil. Okay.
I mean, I don't know, Harry. I mean, to me, crypto, I'm not a fan of, but it's just another place to park money.
Bull crap. It's an illegal security. It's backed by nothing. And this new stable coin concept that they came up with, just read this. It unleashes $9 trillion of market cap that can now be transferred out of your grandmama's 401k into Bitcoin, something that should be illegal.
But
and because Trump's neck deep in it, it's another way for him to make some money. And I mean, you can go read the bill if you like. I've read it.
I mean, it's just basic economics here. Dollar bills are backed by nothing. I mean, it's all, hey, would Brandon much rather have $10 million in his bank account than what's there? Yes. Can I eat dollar bills? Can I trade them in for gold? There's no intrinsic value in any of our paper currencies. It's only because people will give me cars and houses and whatever if I give them enough dollar bills.
Okay, but it had nothing to do with it being a legal tender. The whole concept of Bitcoin was that it wasn't legal tender issued by any government, okay? That was the promise of Bitcoin, that it was separate from the government. Now we're going to create a centralized digital currency, and when they tell you you can't go outside during COVID and you can't go here and you can't go there, well, hell, we'll just turn your money off so it doesn't work 5 miles away from your house. That's where this is headed. And it's a horrible day for democracy. I can't believe this happened. Nobody said a word about it. Everybody's beating their chest. Okay, well, this is right next to the gold standard and the folly after folly after folly that we've had through the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s with tariffs and monetary policy and everything else. And this is just a bottomless pit that people will put their money in. Everyone is going to lose. And this also happened, by the way, Mr. Woodall, during a time where Alabama repealed Section 94, 95, 93, 94, 95 of the Constitution in 1901 or 2022 or whatever we're calling it. And now we have enterprise zones where we can issue debt and give that money to private enterprise. Now, you know, before the state of Alabama started doing it, back in the olden days, we called that fascism. And it was a bad thing. But now it's a great thing. Baby Net's getting a new hotel downtown, a Jake's Steakhouse, all kinds of stuff's happening because there's no risk to these investors. All the risk is to the bondholders, to the public. And I'm sure Moody's going to give them AAA ratings and stuff. Anyway, it's incredible what's going on with monetary policy, and everybody in this state is talking about library books.
Harry, can I ask Mr. Woodall a question on actually what the Public Service Commission does?
Absolutely.
This week, I got notice, there was legal notice from the Trump administration that they want to go back and put off a decision. Previously, you could put, if you had your power plant and you were burning a bunch of cool coal to generate power, you could park that in a pond that you dug on the site and bury it there, and just let it hang out forever. And then the Biden administration came in there and they passed rules where now you've got to dig up the coal pod and take all that ash and put that in some sort of secure storage thing, sort of like a mill. And those rules were going to go into effect here in a couple of years. But this week we got word from the Trump administration that, whoa, let's not go there. What's your view on this coal ash stuff?
Well, it's been a while since I have been deeply involved in that. When I was at the PSC, I did have conversations about that. I will say this, though, the regulations that the Biden administration put forward, the same as it was under when Obama was in office, they're just too burdensome for so many utilities, and they're passing along so many unnecessary regulations and expenses that, I'm thankful that President Trump is putting a more reasonable approach to these issues at the federal level now. And I'm sorry, we just got a phone call on my wife's phone. I'm not sure if y'all heard that or not, but I apologize if you did. But no, there are too many burdens that were put forth from the federal government, and it's good to get back to something again that's just more reasonable.
Understood.
Yes, sir. Hey, Brandon, if I could go back earlier, you mentioned something about the commissioner's salaries and the commissioner's cars. That's one of the other things that I've been talking about when I can on the campaign trail. There is something wrong to me with saying to commissioners who, let's face it, don't go to Montgomery often enough, that here's also a state car for your use. And I'm not sure if y'all saw this, but an article came out, what was this, last month in June, where the commissioners at that time, there were only two. There was place one and place two. The Twinkle had resigned as president and she did not participate, but there was a vote on the commissioners or by the commissioners that went toward purchasing new state vehicles, not for the merit system employees who were at the PSC, but for the commissioners. And they came out after the fact and said, well, this was just starting the process to look at buying new vehicles. There's no reason that automobiles ought to be purchased for the commissioners just to drive to work. There is in Montgomery, as y'all are, I'm sure, aware, there's a 3-story parking deck that has, I think it's 3 stories, that has state motor pool. It's the state motor pool, but there are state cars there that are there for the purpose of allowing state employees to do their job when they have to travel around the state or even outside the state. And it's real simple to get one of those cars when you're doing state business. I used to do it regularly when I was at the Attorney General's office, did it a few times when I was at the PSC. You simply fill out a form, you submit it, go to state motor pool, they hand you the car keys and tell you where the car is located. You go to that particular car, get in it, drive, do your business, and return it. There's no reason that if the commissioners were in need of a vehicle to go somewhere in the state to do part of their job, carry out part of their responsibilities, they couldn't do the same thing that the merit system employees at the PSC do. That's something else that we can do to save money there at the Public Service Commission.
So next time you're in Baldwin County, stop by the Fairhope Satellite Courthouse and check out Chris Elliott's office that's paid for by the county commission. It is
the Baldwin. I'm sorry.
It's better. I mean, you can't imagine that Jeff Bezos has an office like this. Okay. So you can't imagine how we have squandered all of these resources down here It's just unbelievable. So the idea that that's happened at the Public Service Commission doesn't surprise me one bit. I mean, you really ought to see how we can spend money down at this place. Well, guys, I know you need to go at 4, and I want to watch this outro because we have a new development opening down here in Orange Beach this week. There was a ribbon cutting, and that's going to be our outro. Thank you so much for your time. Hey, if you're down here, stop by my law office. We'll have a cup of coffee, and maybe I'll give you some, a contribution or something. You never know. But you never know unless you come by.
Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow morning.
All right. Well, Brandon, anything else on your radar, man?
No, we're watching to see what Barry Moore does if he gets in this U.S. Senate race. He's got an announcement coming up on the 15th. All eyes are on him and who else might get into the Senate race.
All right. Well, Mr. Woodall, you get the last word. Anything you'd like to tell our listeners about your campaign, where they can see you or where your page is? Go ahead.
Yeah, if they would look up on Facebook, they can either look up just Brent Woodall, but also Brent Woodall Public Service Commission Place 2. Hit me or shoot me a friend request. I'll be glad to accept it. Hey, if I may say one other thing about the reason people ought to vote for Brent Woodall.
Go ahead.
That is simply this. Back, you mentioned that the current office holder in Place 2 was put there in September of last year when his father resigned. From what I've been able to find, it seems as if the governor signed a piece of paper accepting his father's resignation, and before she put the pen down, signed another piece of paper appointing his son to be his replacement. There are 3 slots at the PSC. When the president's office was vacant because of an impending resignation, there was a process where people could apply, people could be interviewed, they could be properly vetted to see that we were getting the right person for that position. That did not happen in Place 2 back in September. There was no vetting process. There was no application process or interview process. We got somebody because of their last name. This election is the chance for this state to interview the candidates, to vet the candidates, and to make the best choice. And when they do that, I am confident that they're going to find the best choice is Brent Woodall. Again, I would ask that people just send me a Facebook friend request, either at Brent Woodall or at Brent Woodall Public Service Commission Place 2. Harry and Brandon, thank y'all so much for your time this afternoon. I deeply appreciate it.
All right, here we go, guys. Outro.
With one clean cut, the ribbon is down. With one clean cut, the ribbon is down and Portside on Main is officially open for business. It's the Wharf's latest expansion, adding more than 33,000 square feet of new retail, office, and entertainment space.
We've got everything from golf simulators to bars to some great little shops. We're excited about it. We think it's going to be a tremendous opportunity for our locals as well as all of the folks that come to visit us each summer.
You'll find everything from suites to stylish boutiques. Portside on Main is already buzzing and customers are already rolling in.
We hit the summer rush, so it's been really good. You know, we've been very fortunate. The summers are great, but the locals are the important ones. You know, so we'd like to get them to come in and keep coming in.
But this new addition isn't just about shopping.
It's a great space. We have a lot of children out here playing, a lot of older people that are walking, and they have a place to sit. So I think that's very nice.
A turf lawn at the center adds an additional 26,000 square feet of open green space.
There's beautiful green lawn out here, and it's a great place for kids to play and all, but we want to have some special events as well, maybe some musical talent, maybe some comedians.
As the Wharf continues to grow, officials say this is only the beginning of what's planned for the area. In Orange Beach, Taylor Boyson, WKRG News 5.
I guess YouTube doesn't want us using their stuff. All right, guys. We'll see y'all next time.
Yes, sir.